This is 59 Birdhurst Rise in Croydon. In 1929, it was the home of a pretty widow, Grace Duff, and her 3 young children. Her mother, Violet Sidney, was a little way along the road, and Grace's brother, Tom, was a few minutes' walk away. They were an attractive lot, educated, quite amusing, good-looking, well-off. The last family in England, one might think, to lose 3 members of it through murder.
Get me some water.
I'm going to take it to school.
What on earth for?
As a pet.
It can't be very playful.
So let me have a puppy.
They make your sister sneeze. Hello?
It can live out in the garden. I can build it a kennel.
Darling, shh. Robert?
It doesn't look good. I think you should come back.
But I've only just left.
Grace, I'm serious. You must come now.
Find Amy, tell her that she must put Alistair to bed. You and Grace Mary must look after yourselves.
Grandmother will be all right, won't she?
The doctor's up there. Your brother's with her.
Grace, thank goodness. I'm afraid she's far worse.
I don't understand. Why so quickly?
She must have eaten something. Or taken it. It's the only explanation.
What are you trying to say? Does she even know I'm here?
She does.
You're sure this is what you prescribed?
Oh, of course he's sure.
She was perfectly fine before she took it.
Your mother's taken it for weeks. You said yourself she'd been picking up.
Oh, no.
Nothing
At 7:30 in the evening, on the 5th of March, 1929, Violet Sidney died in appalling agony. Her death was witnessed by her son Tom, her daughter Grace, and Dr. Robert Graham Elwell.
The cause of death was acute arsenical poisoning, but there is insufficient evidence to show whether Mrs. Sidney killed herself or was murdered by some person or persons unknown.
What complicated matters was that 2 other members of this luckless family had also died within the year. Grace's husband, Edmund Duff, and Violet's other daughter, Vera, perished in horribly similar circumstances. Inevitably, their graves were now dug up, and 2 new inquests were held. The results were loud and clear. Both bodies, just like Violet's, were full to the brim with arsenic. Stop press, triple poisoner on the loose, and a poisoner who must surely be a surviving member of the family. Either that, or at the very least, someone close to them. Their housekeeper, perhaps, or that nice Dr. Elwell. Well, the police and the press had their suspicions, and so will you when you hear the evidence, because one of them certainly did it. But in the end, no charge was brought, and so the Croydon poisoner of Birdhurst Rise walked free. Today, one might hesitate to describe Croydon as the acme of fashion. But once, before the First War, it was the choice of many prosperous middle-class families in search of rural and yet convenient surroundings. It was a commuter's paradise. And even in April 1928, a year before the painful events you've just witnessed, it was still a very nice place to live. Violet Sidney was the unchallenged queen of all she surveyed.
Mother, there you are. We've all been waiting.
What are those crates of beer doing there? I suppose they're for him.
Well, they're certainly not for me.
I nearly fell over them.
She wasn't always so autocratic. In her youth, she'd fallen deeply and hopelessly in love. But her parents had forbidden the match and selected Sydney as a more suitable candidate instead. Her reward was to be deserted by her husband for another woman, leaving Violet to bring up their 3 children, Grace, her only son Tom, and Vera, on her own.
Any little fish can swim.
Over the years, she became their absolute ruler, demanding and generally receiving unquestioning obedience. But after the pummeling life had given her, is it to be wondered at?
I can't do anything at all but just love you.
Tom Sidney was the odd one out in that family. After he left the army, he opted for a career in show business.
Now by the crepe, now when is the funeral to be?
Noel Coward was just getting started then, and the rest of them. But actually, I suspect he had his eye on the movies.
Too watery and not enough sugar.
If there were no lioness, he'd lie down with a lamb. So why can't I? Any little cock can crow, any little fox can run, any little crab on any little shore. Hello, little crab on a little more.
Hello, old boy.
Oh, no.
Hello, darling.
Did you catch lots of fish?
The river's empty.
I think your father's pulling your leg, John.
Tom, don't stop on his account.
No, indeed.
Well, let's not pretend you'd be sorry.
Well, I can take it. Especially as I know it won't be for much longer.
What do you mean?
Only that soon they'll be in America. Oops. Have I let the cat out of the bag?
Tom, what is this nonsense?
We've been thinking about it, that's all.
Don't be absurd.
America would be good for Tom's career.
My son's career is here, as is his family. Isn't that right, Tom?
Darling, why are you back so early? We weren't expecting you till tomorrow.
Isn't it obvious? I couldn't stay away from you for one more minute.
We must be going.
But you'll stay to tea?
No, that was before he came back. Come on, Vera.
Mother?
Well, I thought they might like to spend some time together. Oh, do come along, Vera.
I'm so sorry.
It's not your fault.
It's hard not to feel sorry for Vera. 40, unmarried, and living with Violet. She was popular, she was sporty, she was kind. But Vera was still no match for her formidable mamma.
Sorry if I spoke out of turn.
I told you in confidence, Edmund.
Which doesn't explain why you told him at all.
But you're such a close family. I can't believe that your mother didn't know.
Edmund, stop it.
If they want to go to America, you can't stop them.
Tom's not going anywhere. It's just that Margaret being ridiculous.
Oh, Mother, shush.
Oh, Tom, dear, I was thinking about Scarborough this year. The air would do the children so much good.
We can't really make any plans, not at the moment, can we, Tom?
Why ever not?
It's only April, there's plenty of time.
No, I don't like things to drift on. We'll go for 2 weeks in August. Tom?
Yes, Mother.
Excellent. What's settled? Leave all the arrangements to me.
Tom met his wife when he was performing in the United States. Of course, a career in song and dance was an unlikely choice for someone of Tom's background. Edmund wasn't alone in despising him for it. By 1928, they had a son to educate, when professionally things weren't going well.
I just mentioned it, that's all.
It was private. We agreed to keep it between ourselves.
Only because you're scared of your mother.
Scared of my mother?
2 weeks in Scarborough? I rest my case.
It doesn't hurt to keep her happy.
It does, if it means we can't be happy too. Tom? I'm sorry, Tom.
You shouldn't tease Mother so.
I can't resist it, I'm afraid.
Well, we can't afford to fall out with her. And she doesn't find it funny.
But she should develop a sense of humor.
It's a bit late for that.
John! Stop teasing your sister.
Edmund Duff first met Grace through her father, that same runaway who'd left Violet in the lurch, and so naturally there couldn't have been a worse introduction to his future mother-in-law. But he was a bluff, easygoing chap, ex-army, ex-colonial service. And by 1928, he was eking out his modest pension with a bit of clerking in the city. Actually, this was quite a precarious time for a lot of people. The aftermath of the Great War had sent the world's finances into a loop, and the Wall Street crash only 18 months away. But whether it was Edmund's fault or not, the fact remained that for the Duffs, money was in short supply, and they needed every penny that Violet might dish out.
Why are you back so early?
Tell you the truth, I'm feeling a bit seedy. Not up to another day with the rods.
Darling, you're ice cold. Not another?
Grace, it's a sure thing. 6 months investment, 200% yield minimum.
It's always a sure thing, except it never is.
We've been unlucky.
We've nothing left to invest.
I thought I might cash in the insurance policy.
How can you possibly consider it after the last time?
Are you all right, Mother?
Everything's fine, darling. Why don't you collect Father's things? We'll go inside. Come on. We'll have that wretched tea.
Why don't you tell him to come?
Don't be silly.
Why not?
He's my husband.
I'll come round.
All right.
Looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it too. Goodbye.
Father wants to know if his supper's ready.
I thought he was supposed to be ill. Amy, where's Mr. Duff's beer?
Sorry, Mom.
I'll take it. If you have an appetite, you must be feeling better.
Not sure that I have. I just thought eating something might help. No. Thank you. The seal's broken.
I think it's all right, sir.
Of course it is. We ought to get these two to bed. Come on, leave your father in peace.
No, don't kiss me, darling. You might catch whatever it is.
Good night, Father. I hope you feel better soon.
Grace, I'm going to that meeting.
I've telephoned the doctor. He'll be here as soon as he can.
Well, give him our love, won't you? And make sure you don't catch it. All right, bye-bye.
Men make such a fuss, you'd think no one was ever ill before.
Well, she has called out the doctor.
Of course she has. She always gives in to him. What about a game of cards?
Mother, I'm going to the cinema with Margaret, I told you.
You have to go?
Yes, I do.
Well, come straight back. Why do I have to spend the entire evening on my own?
We had nothing to pay to the baker that day, and so we crept out of the pot. How long have you been standing there?
You're very sweet with him.
How's Edmund?
I can't find very much wrong. Must have eaten something.
Did he offer you a nightcap? He is the limit, especially when you come all this way.
I do a lot more than that, Grace.
Do you want to come back? I could rustle up something to eat. Oh, I'd better not. You should stand up to her more. Shouldn't we all? That's Dr. Elwell's car. Gosh, I hope Edmund's not worse. Perhaps it's a social call. Oh, it's very late. What? I'm saying nothing? Well, I should hope not. Really, Margaret, behave yourself. Grace and Edmund are very happy. That's not what Tom says. Well, then Tom is wrong. Come on. For goodness sake.
Father, come quickly.
I couldn't lift him.
You did the right thing. We have to make him stable.
What's that?
Strychnine. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing.
Don't worry. Daddy's strong. He'll be fine, you'll see.
Oh, but for God's sake, do something.
On the 27th of April, 1928, Edmund Duff breathed his last and was soon buried next to two daughters who had died as children.
Their loss had been a source of great grief for the couple. And now this added blow of sudden, unexpected widowhood, well, it seemed to those present as if it was almost too much for Grace to bear.
It's the children I feel sorry for. And to think he could have been saved if he'd only worn a hat. It's really too sad.
The post-mortem had been conducted by Dr. Bronte, who came to the surprising conclusion that Edmund had died from degeneration of the heart muscle brought on from fishing in the sun without a hat. Almost as odd as this verdict was the fact that no one questioned it in those deferential days.
Now, you mustn't worry about a thing. If you need anything, you just ask.
We'll be all right. You're already such a darling about John's school fees. That's more than enough for one person.
No, don't be silly. What else am I going to spend my money on?
Dear Vera.
I am sorry, Grace.
Don't pretend you liked him.
I wish you didn't have to go through this, that's all.
Margaret's waiting for you.
They had all inherited money from their grandfather, but only Vera still had her legacy. Grace's share was lost through her husband's dabbling in the stock market. Edmund was insured, of course, but it would be months before the policy paid out.
Could I speak to your mistress?
I'll see if she's at home. Sorry, sir, she must have gone out.
Will you tell her I called?
I wasn't expecting you.
Is Vera around?
She's playing tennis with Mrs. Northbrook.
Tell her I dropped by.
You're out of funds. Have you any idea how much I've already given you this month?
I wasn't asking you.
No, you were going to ask your soft-hearted sister instead.
Hasn't been easy, Mother.
When I lost your father, I coped.
But Daddy wasn't dead, was he? Daddy ran off with someone else.
You have a way out, Grace, which is more than I had.
I won't marry just to please you.
Oh, you've made that quite clear.
Edmund was a good man.
Edmund was an oaf. Dr. Elwell, on the other hand, is a gentleman.
What is it now?
It's from your club.
It's just a whip round. One of the club servants is leaving.
You told me you'd given up your membership.
It's an investment.
Is it? We're supposed to be saving money.
I need to get more work, and to do that, I must be seen around. Now, I promised I'd get you back to America.
You promised a lot of things.
Margaret Sidney came to England believing she was marrying into society and that her husband was a successful entertainer. As in many marriages, the reality proved rather different. By now, Tom had spent his grandfather's legacy, and the social world Margaret had anticipated had not materialized. She was a clever woman. She was a college graduate. But work wasn't considered appropriate, and their level of society, well, respectable, was hardly cutting edge. In short, she was bored to death.
Shall we go out tonight? Have some fun, what do you say?
I'm not a fool, Tom. Don't treat me like one to be bought off with kisses and treats.
You have to trust me, Margaret. We will get to the States.
When?
Soon.
I hope so. Because one way or another, I'm going home this year. And the children are coming with me.
In August 1928, 4 months after Edmund's death, and with the help of his life insurance policy, Grace bought 59 Birdhurst Rise. It was a few doors down from Violet's house, and in truth, she'd begun to recover. Thanks to her mother and sister, she was no worse off, really, than when Edmund was alive, and she was at least free of his harebrained financial schemes. And she wasn't alone. In the years after the Great War, there were plenty of young widows around.
Grace, you really can't put that oak chair next to the walnut desk. It doesn't work to mix woods in a drawing room.
It's my drawing room, Mother, and I shall do as I like.
Where should I put these?
Not in here, surely.
They were Daddy's.
Darling, let's put them on the mantel shelf for now.
What on earth is all this stuff?
My feelings entirely.
It's my stuff and it's my home.
Well, hello. Who's ill?
No one, I hope.
Robert.
I thought these might cheer you up. You exhausted?
Why? Do I look it?
Grace.
By early 1929, almost a year had passed since Edmund's death, but not much had changed for Tom Sidney. He still hadn't made the grade in England, and he still hadn't made the break to America.
No shadows born of earthly light. Oi! Get out of there! Come out of there! What do you think you're doing?
I'm sorry. I needed some rope when making a swing.
Well, the shed's out of bounds, you know that.
I didn't touch anything.
Think if Cedric got it into his head to play in there. There's all manner of dangerous things. We have to be very careful.
You're right. I wasn't thinking.
You know you're never to come in here, don't you? Good man. John! John. Go on. Go and make your swing.
Thank you.
Becoming a habit.
I'm sorry. The game overran and the wretched car wouldn't start.
Miss Vera's soup, I suppose.
Yes, Mum.
Do I get a first course, or am I just to sit here and watch you?
I've done you a nice egg mayonnaise.
It may be egg mayonnaise, but whether it's nice or not is too early to say. I can't think why you're playing tennis when you're not well.
I'm fine.
You don't look fine. You look dreadful.
Thank you, Mother. That makes me feel a lot better.
just want you to slow down. It's not like you to be ill.
Well, you know how I hate staying in.
You mean you can't bear staying in with me?
This is delicious. You should try some, Mother.
I detest soup, as you know well enough.
Mother, and yes. Nothing.
Why do I have to?
Because your aunt pays your school fees.
I didn't ask her to.
Don't be so ungrateful.
It's all Father's fault.
Don't talk like that. Daddy didn't plan on dying.
What are we going to do?
Don't worry.
I will look after you, you know. I'm the man of this house now, and I will look after you.
We'll be all right. I've still got 1 or 2 tricks up my sleeve. Vera. You look awful.
Oh, well, I wasn't too clever yesterday, but I think I'm on the mend now. Oh, John, they're beautiful, thank you. Yes, take.
Will you let me call Dr. Elwell?
No, I'd rather you didn't.
Oh, Vera, don't you start. I've already had all of that from Tom.
I hate gossip.
Do you? I love it.
Not when it's about you. People are talking.
Well, let them.
You don't mean that. Does he want to marry you?
I think he might.
What about you? It's a solution after all. I'm fairly sure Mother would approve.
But the more she pushes him towards me, the more it puts me off.
Oh, that's all very well, but I think you're going to have to consider it.
Lack of money is so ghastly. Makes me feel dirty just to think about it.
Lack of money makes people do worse things than that.
Yes, I'm afraid it does.
Vera was a simple soul. A wartime physiotherapist, she had total faith in fresh air and exercise as the cure for every ailment.
Oh, is it that bad? It looks as if you've seen a ghost.
Oh, no, miss. I didn't expect to see you up. Aren't you feeling better?
I am a bit. I wonder what it was. Touch of influenza, I suppose. What is it?
Miss Vera, I'm afraid I know what it was. It was that soup.
Well, what makes you say that?
Well, you won't tell your mother.
Of course not.
Well, you know how strict she is about what I'm allowed to eat.
Of course I do. Though I don't see the point of it. I mean, why shouldn't you finish up anything that's left over?
Anyway, I did have a bowl of that soup. Then I gave some to the cat, and blow me, we were sick as a parrot, the pair of us.
Oh, well, that's it then.
Well, I can't think what went wrong. I made it the same as always.
Well, it's done now. Let's just forget about it. Oh, not a word to Mother, I promise.
Mrs. Sidney's residence?
Is Vera there?
Oh, no, I'm sorry, you've just missed her.
But I thought she'd be laid up for days. Very well, I'll pop in later, see how she is.
By the way, your mother wants to know whether you could meet your aunt off the noon train tomorrow.
Aunt Gwen? I didn't know she was coming.
She called today and invited herself to luncheon.
Couldn't Tom do it?
No, Mrs. Sidney doesn't want to bother him with it.
I'm not sure Mrs. Noakes will know what to do with it.
It's quite simple, but you do need a sharp knife.
I thought I heard voices. Gwen, how lovely to see you.
Do look what Aunt Gwen's brought.
A pineapple, heavens.
Give it to me. I'll take it to the kitchen and let Mrs. Noakes have her way with it. Then I'll shoot off.
Aren't you staying for lunch?
I'm afraid I can't. I must sort out the children, but I'll see you later for tea.
I
I'm so pleased that things are looking good for Grace.
She spoils those children, running around at their beck and call.
As opposed to running around at your beck and call.
These days, I'm quite used to my wishes coming second with all my children.
Are you, Mother?
I'm sorry Tom couldn't join us. I should love to have seen him.
I didn't want to bother him.
Margaret says he's not feeling very well.
If he isn't, it's her fault.
Are you going to try some of my soup, Aunt Gwen?
I'd love some if I'm allowed.
Actually, I wonder whether I will. I'm not feeling terribly hungry.
Nonsense. You always have soup.
Aunt Gwen was the first to feel the effects. And although she did manage to get home, she was extremely ill. But Gwen recovered. Poor Vera was less fortunate. At last, Elwell decided he needed some help. And the eminent Dr. Charles Bolton, an expert in gastro diseases, was sent for.
Try to keep still, my dear. You'll only make yourself hot.
Gastrointestinal influenza, aggravated by dilation of the heart. He says the exercise brought it on. He thinks that car's the culprit. Starter handle. It's much too violent an exercise for a woman.
I've warned her so many times.
Still, now we've a diagnosis, we can make sure we get you better.
Is it incredible that nobody questioned these extraordinary diagnoses? Well, they didn't. I suppose the key factor was that Vera seemed to have influenza, a disease that had claimed more victims after the Great War than died in the war itself. In those days, flu was no laughing matter.
Is it as bad as she says?
I'm afraid so.
There must be something you can do.
I really wish there were.
Vera, it's Grace. Please let me take your hand. What's happening?
Despite the similarity to Edmund's death, the world accepted that the car starter handle had done for Vera. And a few days later, she was buried next to her unfortunate brother-in-law.
Where have you been?
Meaning?
You haven't been to see Mother since Vera died. What are you thinking?
I've been ill. It wouldn't have helped to give her the flu.
Don't be sad, Mother. Things will get better.
Is that a promise?
You'll get Aunt Vera's money, won't you?
She's only just died, John.
I know. And it's terribly sad, and I'll miss her dreadfully, but even if she splits it with Uncle Tommy, I'll still get half.
I don't want to talk about it. See if Grandmother's all right, there's a dear. I was only trying to be helpful.
Perhaps he's right.
She only had her share of what Father left us.
But she was careful. There should be something. Of course, there's one way to solve your problems. And it would certainly solve mine.
It's also muddled, Robert. Don't force me to make a decision when it won't be what you want.
I know what you're thinking. One less tie to hold it here.
I was very fond of Vera. She was always very kind to me, unlike some of your relations. Do you think Vera left you any money?
She might have done. Why?
Just as long as you understand, I'm not staying in England because you won't leave your mother.
Vera has died. Mother needs me.
I'm just warning you, that's all.
Violet took Vera's death very badly, and not long after the funeral, Dr. Elwell had to prescribe her a tonic.
You looking for the will?
Why? Have you already taken it? God knows what I'm going to do with all this stuff. Give it to the church, I suppose.
Where's Mother?
Downstairs.
What are we going to do about her?
Well, I'm not going to take over from Vera, so you can forget that now.
You know Mrs. Noakes is leaving next week.
She can't.
I think she is.
Well, who's going to look after Mother? You'll have to talk to her.
What could I say?
I don't know, but you have to think of something. All I know is I have a dead husband, I have 3 children, no money, Vera's things to sort out. I can't manage an impossible mother as well.
She left most of it, Mr. Tom. Shame to waste it.
Don't worry, I don't see why you can't eat the leftovers. It's one of Mother's peculiarities.
Well, she's certainly got plenty of those.
Is that why you're leaving? You can't go, you know.
I gave Mrs. Sidney my notice in good time.
Yes, but things have changed. I'm very worried about Mother. Vera's death has hit her hard. She's very depressed. Surely you can see that.
Daughter's dead. Should hardly be cheerful.
The point is, we all need to be extra vigilant. And that's why I'm asking you to stay on.
Well, I don't know what difference I make.
She knows you. She's used to you. I'm not convinced she can survive without you. God alone knows what she might do if you go.
Get me some water.
What is it, Mum?
It's the medicine. Gritty, foul taste.
Do you want to shake it?
Oh, I think I did. Oh, don't let me make lunch late. You know how I hate that.
Back then.
Where's Mother?
In the dining room.
She's still having lunch?
No, miss, she's finished, but she's not feeling too well. She wants to sit quiet for a while.
Mother, what's wrong?
Grace, thank goodness.
What is it?
I think I've been poisoned.
What?
It's the medicine, miss. Your mother thinks it tasted odd.
Well, it certainly doesn't smell very nice.
It's poison, I tell you. I feel dreadful.
I must go and check on the children.
I'll stay with them.
Thank you.
Grace, it's not the right time, but
Robert, no. Not now. I know you mean well, but I wish someone would just let me manage my own life for a change.
What do you mean by bitter? Do you think it's gone off?
I tell you, I've been poisoned.
And you prescribed this?
it's a tonic. There's nothing in it to harm your mother.
What did you have for lunch today?
Chicken.
Oh, well, there you are then. It must have been bad.
Don't talk rubbish. This is...
What on earth for?
hardly very playful.
So let me have a puppy.
They make your sister sneeze. Hello?
Well, it can live in the garden. I can build it a kennel.
Darling, shh. Robert?
It doesn't look good. I think you should come back.
But I've only just left.
Grace, I'm serious. You must come now.
The doctor's up there. Your mother's with her too.
Grace, thank goodness. I'm afraid she's far worse.
I don't understand. Why so quickly?
She must have eaten something. Or taken it. It's the only explanation.
What are you trying to say? Does she even know I'm here?
She does.
You're sure this is what you prescribed?
Oh, of course he's sure.
She was perfectly fine before she took it.
Your mother's taken it for weeks. You said yourself she'd been picking up.
Oh, no. Mother.
There's nothing you can do, Grace.
No.
And so Violet Sidney became the third member of her family to die within the year. At last, the alarm bells were ringing, and not before time. Elwell was asked to supply the authorities with the medicines he prescribed, and samples of Violet's food were taken away for analysis.
Who are you calling?
Aunt Gwen.
No, don't. I thought I'd go up there myself.
To Newcastle? Why?
I think I ought to. At least somebody should. She's getting on, and I think it's too much for her to hear it over a telephone.
But when can you go? I mean, I quite agree. She needs to hear it from one of us.
I'll go today.
A wretched family reconvene at the same cemetery. There was a funeral, but only because the hopeless Dr. Bronte, he who diagnosed Edmund's death from lack of hat-wearing, decided that Violet had died, and I quote, from unidentifiable causes. Unsurprisingly, she was not allowed to rest. An analysis of her medicine resulted in both Violet's and Vera's bodies being exhumed within the month. And it wasn't long before Edmund's grave also yielded up its secrets.
Aunt Gwen? What have I done?
I'm afraid the press have taken against you.
There were 3 inquests in all, and the coroner, Dr. Jackson, heightened the drama by declaring he would hold them all concurrently. So it was soon established that first Edmund, then Vera, and finally Violet had all swallowed arsenic. In other words, there was a triple poisoner at large. The last of the inquests was Edmund's, and by that time the verdict was not a surprise.
We find that Edmund Croydon Duff met his death on the 27th of April 1928 from acute arsenical poisoning, administered by some person or persons unknown.
What the coroner did not do, however, was point the finger at a suspect. There were no arrests, there was no trial. Unless, of course, one were to count trial by public opinion. Press, public, even the police cast Grace Duff in the role of killer, ridding herself of her boorish husband and ending his reckless financial dealings. According to this version, she killed her sister and her mother simply to gain her share of their fortunes. The bitter truth is that Grace would live out the rest of her days under suspicion of murder. So were they right? Was it Grace? A popular image of the cool and stylish murderers. Remember, in those days, poison was very much seen as a female weapon of choice. All 3 victims had been poisoned with arsenic, then used in household pesticides and commonly available.
consensus was that the first dose of poison was in the beer. And it was certainly meant for Edmund, because nobody else in the house drank it.
What are those crates of beer doing there? I suppose they're for him.
Well, they're certainly not for me.
I nearly fell over them.
Vera's poison was in the soup. Absolutely no question.
Actually, I wonder whether I will. I'm not feeling terribly hungry.
Nonsense. You always have soup.
Everyone knew that nobody else in the house drank it.
It was Violet's tonic that finished her off.
What is it, Mom?
Medicine. Gritty, foul taste.
Could it have been Violet? She certainly hated her son-in-law. Could she kill him to make way for Dr. Elwell? Then rid herself of an uncomfortable relationship with Vera and finally take her own life in remorse? Well, it was an idea put about at the time, and Tom appeared to believe it.
My mother thought her garden paths looked untidy and asked me for some weed killer. I bought some and made up a solution for her. She never did the paths, but I dread to think what she might have used it for.
To me, Tom's theory of homicidal suicide is the least convincing of all. However much she loathed her son-in-law, I can't believe she would have poisoned her beloved daughter Vera and then visited a similarly gruesome death on herself. No, it wasn't Violet. Could it have been Mrs. Noakes? Obviously, it would have been easy for her to poison the soup, but why would she drink it herself? I think we can safely acquit Mrs. Noakes, especially as she had neither motive nor opportunity to kill Edmund. So who did?
Elwell came in for some suspicion. So in love with Grace, he'd do anything to make her his.
How long have you been standing there?
You're very sweet with him.
How's Edmund?
I can't find very much wrong. He must have eaten something.
Did he offer you a nightcap? He is the limit, especially when you come all this way.
I do a lot more than that, Grace.
No. As a doctor, he would surely have used an untraceable poison, not arsenic.
Right thing.
And what about the most shocking theory of all?
And what did you do with the rest of the weed killer?
I kept it in my shed for safety.
Could anyone have access to your shed?
No, I always keep it locked. Although, now you ask, I did once find my nephew John in there. I was quite cross with him. I have young children, you see.
Was it John? Tom's testimony suggested that it might have been the boy who took the weed killer. So desperate was he to make his mother's troubles go away.
I thought I might cash in the insurance policy.
How can you possibly consider it after the last time?
Are you all right, Mother?
Everything's fine, darling. Why don't you collect Father's things? We'll go inside.
Could it be true? Did he kill his father? Only to find he'd made his mother's life more difficult than ever.
It's all Father's fault.
Don't talk like that. Daddy didn't plan on dying.
What are we going to do?
Don't worry.
I will look after you now. I'm the man of this house now, and I will look after you.
I suppose the boy might conceivably have poisoned Elwell, but not his grandmother and aunt.
Does he want to marry you?
I think he might.
It's a solution after all.
I'm sure it wasn't John. I'm afraid we are left with the siblings, Grace and Tom.
Where's Mother?
Downstairs.
What are we going to do about her?
Well, I'm not going to take over from Vera, so you can forget that now.
So which of them was it? Tom or Grace? Both of them had a motive to kill Violet, as they both stood to inherit her money. But would they really want poor, harmless, generous Vera dead? Of course, she was the only one who'd husbanded the inheritance they'd all received from their grandfather, and she had no children, so Tom and Grace stood to benefit. At the inquest, Mrs. Noakes remembered seeing someone in the passage.
Do you think Mr. Thomas Sidney was in the house on the morning that you prepared the soup that later made you and the cat ill?
Yes.
Are you sure you saw him?
I was sure. I just caught a glimpse of him.
Oh, you just caught a glimpse. That's a little vague, don't you think? You're not muddling it up with some other day?
Well, he was in and out all the time. Suppose it could have been another day.
She thought it was Tom, but was it Grace? And was she muddled? On the day of the poisoning, Grace brought Gwen to the house.
Look what Gwen's brought. A pineapple. Heavens. If it's me, I'll take it to the kitchen and let Mrs. Noakes have her way with it. Then I'll shoot off. Aren't you staying for lunch?
Even though Grace didn't stay, she knew that Gwen was there.
I'm sorry Tom couldn't join us. I should love to have seen him.
I didn't want to bother him.
Tom, on the other hand, was unaware there even was a luncheon in Gwen's honour.
Edmund's death is the awkward detail in all this where Grace is concerned.
Tom might dislike Edmund, but Grace alone would benefit from her husband's death.
The seal's broken.
I think it's all right, sir.
Of course it is.
So were the press and public right? Was she a murderess?
The police never accumulated enough evidence to charge Grace with murder, and I'm confident that the reason for this is a simple one. She didn't do it.
The key to the mystery is Gwendolen Greenwell. It was essential that only Vera drink the soup.
However, on the day, Aunt Gwen invites herself for lunch. So who of the possible poisoners knew that Gwen would be served the soup? Well, Violet knew. Mrs. Noakes knew. Grace brought her from the station. Obviously, if she put arsenic into the saucepan earlier, she would have gone into the kitchen and accidentally spilt the lot. The only member of their circle who did not know that Gwen would be in the house that day was Tom.
No, Grace was innocent.
The notion that her marriage was unhappy came from Tom. None of the servants' testimony bore it out. And she was close to Vera.
And Vera loved John. But anyway, there's something else to consider.
Whoever killed Violet was in a hurry. There'd already been 2 deaths, surely. To risk a third was to fly in the face of fortune, and Grace wasn't going anywhere.
But someone was in a hurry. And that someone was Tom Sidney. Later, he'd pretend that he'd fled to America to escape Grace, but we know he was burning to go just as soon as he had the money to do so.
Well, you have to trust me, Margaret. We will get to the States.
When?
Soon.
I hope so. Because one way or another, I'm going home this year. And the children are coming with me.
It was Tom who originally planted the idea that Violet might have committed suicide.
I'm very worried about Mother. Vera's death has hit her hard.
Daughter's dead. Should hardly be cheerful.
The point is, we all need to be extra vigilant. I'm not convinced she can survive without you. God alone knows what she might do if you go.
And it was Tom who suggested that Mrs. Noakes could be the killer, or even that the murderer was young John. A suggestion that Grace bitterly resented. Mrs. Noakes maintained that he'd been in the house on the morning of the first attempt to kill Vera. She said she saw him in the passage, and he denied it.
Hello?
But later, in court, the coroner forced her to question her own memory. Nevertheless, I'm sure she was right, and he was there. Just as he would have been in the house the day that Violet died. And why did he go to Newcastle to tell Gwen? I'll tell you why. It was always part of his plan to set Grace up. And within the family, Gwen was Grace's special champion. But that was before she knew she'd narrowly escaped death by arsenic. Tom achieved his ends. The next time Gwen saw her niece, she was as cold to her as ice.
Oh, Gwen. What have I done?
I'm afraid the press have taken against you.
Vera's death brought the first helping of cash and prevented her from taking a share of their mother's. After all, half of everything was the most he could hope for.
You looking for the will?
Why? Have you already taken it?
He was bound to share with Grace unless he was prepared to kill all her children, and that would have brought detection. My guess is that having got away with the first 2 murders, he would have preferred to wait, let Violet die naturally, but his marriage was hanging in the balance. He just didn't have time.
I know what you're thinking. One less tie to hold us here.
I was very fond of Vera. She was always very kind to me, unlike some of your relations. Do you think Vera left you any money?
She might have done. Why?
Just as long as you understand, I'm not staying in England because you won't leave your mother.
The temptation, having brought it off twice, must have been great. Lest we forget, the arsenic was sitting there in his garden shed. The truth is, the whole grisly campaign of death worked. With his inheritance, Tom and Margaret left for America and made a new life. These are the graves of all 3 victims. Violet, Vera, and Edmund. Why Edmund? He didn't like his brother-in-law. He detested being the butt of his coarse humor. But murder? Well, I think firstly, he wanted to rid himself of the only other man in the family who might challenge him. I also think he wanted to try out his method, which with both Edmund and Vera meant giving small amounts of the poison to simulate illness before killing them. And that way he could achieve a diagnosis of natural causes, which, thanks to Doctors Bolton and Bronte, he managed both times.
But finally, I'm sure his real motive for killing Edmund was to have a fallback position if the whole thing should go wrong. With Edmund gone, it meant whomever was killed later, suspicion was bound to fall on Grace. And in this, he was quite correct. It did. And it ruined her life.
Grace is dead now. And her son John, another target of his uncle's malice, was killed in the Second World War. Her house survives, but Violet's does not. It fell into ruin and was replaced by a spanking new block of flats.
Today, the Sydneys have departed.
And Birdhurst Rise is just another street in Croydon. But it is a bit chilling to think that less than a century ago, an unconvicted killer walked down it, who murdered half his family and would have placed a noose around the neck of his one surviving sister, all to help him on his way to the